Salam and good evening to you. A warm welcome back, ladies, gents and Pikachus. Today we're going to be looking at a Evercade game, ALWA'S Awakening. Also has a game called Cathedral on the card. We're going to start with ALWA'S Awakening. Set in the historical mythical land of Alwa, ALWA'S Awakening, this game here, features Zoe, who is the protagonist lady on the front there. And she's kind of like a chosen one. She gets dropped into this world and doesn't realise what power she has access to, and has to find items and unlock these different powers in order to save the people of the land of Alwa. Now, anyone who is my age or similar will recognise that this is done in the styling of a kind of 8-bit original Nintendo game. And I think that's a really good direction to take this game in, because it gives it a kind of a unique edge. There aren't many games doing that at the moment, and Elden Pixels, the company who make this game, have pulled it off superbly. This is an excellent game, as we shall now see. I considered putting a silly voice on to read the narration to you, but decided against it. No, my silly voice powers are not quite sufficient to do the justice this game deserves, so I thought I won't do that. But I mean, it's worth reading the lore. The intro is unskippable. That's the only problem with the game, is I like to skip my intros. You can't skip this intro, but it's worth reading it to give you an idea of what the game is about, so when you get dropped into it just ahead of the first dungeon, you know what you're doing. And then within about a quarter of an hour you will have found the initial first items, your orbed stick to beat the enemies with, and a map for navigation. So as you can see, the game is a series of screens, a dungeon which is, you can travel north, east, west or south. You can backtrack, you can go anywhere you like. There are plenty of secrets to be found and plenty of hazards to avoid or to beat with the stick. And you'll find that if you are a good puzzler, if you're used to these kind of games, you won't find it too challenging until about the middle of the game. But I mean, even an experienced dungeon keeper or traveller such as myself, I did hit various points where I thought, well, this is a really well written dungeon, because it's making me think. It's not just a case of push button here, go to here, kill enemy here. There is actually an element of thinking required in order to find all the secrets and unlock all of Zoe's powers. One such power is the ability to create a block which you can push along, which you'll be granted after picking this green gem up. So being able to create a block has various different properties and skills that it adds to the player. Initially, the first thing you'll notice is you can drop a block down and then stand on it, so you can extend your jump range by one block. But the main thing, and I didn't realise this at first, the main combat skill that it grants you is the block can actually stop the incoming enemy attacks. So the flame balls like that one there that comes out the wall, if you have a block in the way, you can stop those from hitting you. Which comes in a lot of handy when you're fighting the many bosses, especially the first boss, which we'll get to. Stupidly, I didn't realise this, and I didn't use the block while I was fighting the enemy, and I died many times. Then when I realised you could use the block to block the incoming enemy shots, it made that initial boss meeting actually quite simplistic. So yeah, I should have read the text pop-ups, I should have read the lore, and I would have known that the blocks can actually stop incoming fire. But me being me, I am a low intelligence, I'm not a superior male, so I did not know that. But anyway, as you can see, we're getting through the dungeon quite quickly, and it's that kind of game. If you're a child player or just a simple guy, you can complete this game just running from A to B fairly quickly, probably 2 or 3 hours you can complete this game. And you don't need to find any of the secrets, you don't even need to find all the weapons, unlock all the rooms, nothing like that. But if you are like me and you want to 100% the game, then you're going to have to put a bit more time into it. And the reason for that is the map and the levels are so well designed, even though it flashes your next objective on the map, so you never get lost, you always know where you're headed. And there's actually a warp system, so unlike Metroid, you don't have to by hand backtrack through millions and millions of screens, you can warp to your nearest location. But what you'll find is, there's so many hidden secrets, there's so many invisible not invisible. What's the opposite of an invisible wall? There's so many walls you can walk through if you know where to jump into the wall, and then you'll find hidden passages, or some of these spikes you can see, some of those are false spikes, you can fall down. It will just keep you going for absolutely hours and hours. And this is the first mini-boss. Scary spider guy. See, now, because I've got this block to make sure those shots don't hit me, I can concentrate on avoiding the little spiders. And that means I am now in control of this fight, evil scary spider thing. So you just whack him with your stick 4 or 5 times, and that'll put him in his last attack phase. One small criticism of the game, I feel like Mr. Spider sub-boss here, when he's on his last bar of health, I really wanted to see like that little cloud of steam coming out of his head. You know they do Angry Man Who's About to Die with the little steam coming out of the head thing? Elden Pixels, in a sequel you have to have phase 2 of your bosses visible with that little cloud of steam coming out of their heads, and that is all I want really. It's not much to ask. But as you can see, he's on his last bit of health now, and there we go, we've done away with evil scary spider. Collect our gem, and we can now traverse to the next screen of the dungeon. The other thing that you should know about your upgrade items and your magical powers is once you have gained those, they all have an upgrade path, so you can make them stronger or longer lasting or actually do different things completely. And I feel that's the strength of this game, is there's always something new just around the corner. There's always a new item or a new power up that you can collect. And even though the game doesn't force you down the path of collecting all of these, like I say, you can quite happily just bore the game from A to B. Do it in 2 or 3 hours, speed run it if you like, if that's your kind of style. But I like to 100% things, and I feel like this game will reward you for exploration. It rewards you for looking in all those little nooks and crannies and for finding the secrets. And if you're at a loss and you don't know where those secrets are, speaking to the NPCs will often reveal these, because they will give you little hints and little tips, or even sometimes little strategy tips on how to beat the various bosses. So there's always something to help you find the next area, or to help you beat the next boss, and keep you driving towards your goal of beating Vicar and saving the land of Alwa. Worth a mention also is the background music. Now, every dungeon has its own music, night and day music, there is specific boss music, there is final zone music, and there is an overall theme. And what you'll find is, all these themes, even though they're 8-bit beepy beep music, they're really addictive. I love all the music in this game. It's the same with the graphics. They've done it in the style of a classic 8-bit game, but actually you can tell they've written it with modern techniques. For instance, the sequencer used for the music within this game has more than 4 tracks. So even though it's beepy beepy beep, it's 16 track music, and it's written with modern techniques. So you'll really enjoy the music in this game. It's extremely thematic and well written. In fact, the level design, the graphics are good, the music and sound are good, the overall presentation, and it's got just the right amount of hand-holding to make it an enjoyable adventure for young or old. And so in conclusion, I'll give this game a solid 9 out of 10 and say it's a definite game that's worth buying. And now we'll move on to Cathedral, the kind of bonus game on the cart. So yeah, we'll quit out of that, go to have a look at Cathedral. As with most games on the Evercade, the load times are literal seconds. So as soon as I click play on this, seven seconds later, bang, you're into the game. And I think that is a real strength of this system. There's no waiting around, there's no downloading, there's no frustration or annoying bits. You can just get straight into the game. So, on to the game Cathedral. It's a kind of arcade style side-scrolling hack and slash. It does have RPG elements, it does have small elements of exploration, but what you'll find is, unlike ALWA'S Awakening, once you have completed an area and moved on in this game, there's absolutely no reason for you to ever go back there. Although you are given the option of going back there. Say if you've missed an item you want to go back and get, or you just need more coins, or if you just want to record a better score for that area, you can backtrack if you like, but it's not enforced by the game. And if you are an A to B speedrunner, you absolutely don't need to do that. And what you'll be wanting to do is learn the pathway of perfection and just complete each stage killing everything, collecting everything in the most efficient way possible. This is another game that's got fantastic music and sound. I don't know what it is about the graphical style of the 8-bit era, it just does something for me. I really do dig that style. And it's not even like, I think it's accessible. I can draw pictures of these characters and they look kind of like the real ones. They're obviously not as polished, but if I want to draw a pixel art of that character, I can take a screenshot, I can upscale it, and I can copy it, and it's easy for me to do. So it means I am inspired in my own creativity. And I really think that's something that's missing from modern day games. The artwork is so complex and detailed. Sometimes it's even AI created, or CGI. There's virtually no chance that you'll be able to make anything like that. And it demoralises the artist, unless you're a professional who knows how to do those techniques. You've got no chance of standing up to that. Well, I managed to die there, didn't I? So attempt number 2 costs you 10% of your coins every time you die, and if your coins are reduced to 0, then you lose your progress. But that's very unlikely because coins are absolutely everywhere, and it's fairly difficult to die as quickly as you're picking up those coins. Like, you have to be a real spacker to not pick up coins and be dying all the time in this game. It's a fairly easy game. So you continue left to right, up and down, right to left, down and up. I haven't figured out yet, but those sort of semi-floors, you can press down and jump on there. Figure it out. Come on, Daily, you can do it. No, I'm not going to figure it out yet. So you can go down and up where it lets you on those little half floors, and then you can explore different parts of the level. But like I say, each level is made of like 8 or 9 screens, and once you've explored all of those screens and you've left the area, there's absolutely no reason in the game for you to ever come back here. So it's worth exploring, finding all the chests and the coins, defeating as many enemies as you can before you move on to the next bit. And what you'll find is each area contains 2 or 3 little collectibles which power your character up. So you get armor power-ups, you get weapon power-ups, you get magic power-ups, which I haven't reached yet, and you get wealth power-ups, which just give you a big stack of coinage. What I will say about this game is it's a real shame they didn't push the boat out to make this 2-player, because whereas ALWA'S Awakening is a single-player RPG, like it's designed from the ground up to be played by one person, I feel like the mechanics of this game could easily support a second player. And it's not like the old NES where you didn't have the amount of memory you needed. This is running on a highly advanced modern AMD processor. Not AMD, what's the other one? ARM, an ARM processor. So it could easily have had a split screen mode or a cooperative mode. And I suppose they could well make a sequel of this that's 2-player. But yeah, it's I just think that's a shame about this game, that it doesn't have that support built in. So as you can see, I'm pretty crap at these kind of games, so I'm going to go past these enemies. And I feel like the theme of the graphics, the spikiness and the kind of gothic architectures, it's leading me to believe that the boss of this area is going to be a spiky boy, isn't he? He's going to be a big fat knight that's like 4 times my size, covered in spikes. And my job is to reach him after collecting all the upgrades and armour that I can, so that I can kill him quickly. So yeah, you kind of see what you're getting with this game. As you progress through it, the enemies get tougher and tougher and tougher, and the platforming gets a little bit tougher, but it's not the kind of game that's going to frustrate you. There's no, as far as I've played anyway, I haven't completed it yet, but there's no part of this game which is fiendishly difficult that's going to make you throw your controller down in a rage. It's all fairly easy. Even the puzzles are really similar. I feel like this is a game for newbies. This is not a game for your experienced dungeon travellers like ALWA'S Awakening can be, if you're trying to 100% it. This is a casual game, if you like. So it's cool that they included this on the cartridge. So you've got ALWA'S Awakening for your hardcore retro gamers and your more involved RPG players. But for those who just want to smash a few enemies, collect a few things, and not be challenged too much, Cathedral should be your go-to. So in conclusion, the graphics and sound are really good. They're not quite as good as with ALWA'S Awakening, I feel. The map and the menus and stuff are good, but yeah, so in conclusion, do I like Cathedral? I do. It gets a thumbs up from me and a 7 out of 10 rating. A fantastic bonus game. So there you have it, ALWA'S Awakening plus Cathedral, 20 quid on the Evercade VS, absolutely worth a buy, one of my favourite games on the system, and hopefully we'll see a sequel in due course. So that's pretty much it for today. Go out and buy that if you thought that was cool. Hope you enjoyed this. God bless, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now. For anyone who wants to buy one of these amazing Evercade VS consoles, I'll leave you a little Amazon link in the description, although I don't make any money for it, it's just the best deal I could find at £90. So enjoy that, and I'll see you next time.